You know those top-tier investors? The ones who just seem to thrive when things get chaotic? Who consistently pull out wins when the stakes are at their absolute highest? They navigate this world of total uncertainty with a skill that, honestly, feels like magic. But here's the thing. It's not magic. It's a mindset. So what is it? What really separates the best from the rest of us? Do they have a crystal ball? Some secret formula they're hiding? Or is it something else, something deeper? Well, to find out, you've got to look in the right place. And for that answer, we're diving into Jack Schwager's classic book, Hedge Fund Market Wizards. Our guide is a trader named Colm O'Shea. He's a global macro trader, which basically means he bets on huge economic trends happening all over the world. And his track record? Get this. He has never had a single losing year. So how in the world does he do it? Okay, secret number one. This is a massive shift in how you think. The best traders, they don't try to predict the future. Nope. Instead, they build a hypothesis, an idea that they can actually test against what's happening in the real world. Just look at the difference in ego here. Prediction is all about being right. It's saying, I know the future. But a hypothesis, that's all about the process. It says, okay, here's my idea, but more importantly, here is the exact spot where the market will tell me I'm wrong. You see, it's a framework for thinking, not some bold claim of being all-knowing. And this quote from O'Shea makes it super clear these hypotheses aren't just random guesses. He's not just following lines on a chart. He demands a real-world connection, a logical, fundamental reason for why a market should be moving in the first place. And that leads us perfectly into the second secret, which really builds on the first one. It's all about being a realist, reacting to what is happening right now, not what you think might happen down the road. Let's take the 2008 financial crisis as a perfect example. Most people will point to Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers collapsing as the start of it all. But O'Shea, he saw the real signal way, way earlier. Back in August 2007, he saw that the money markets, the absolute core of the financial system, had just frozen solid. Banks suddenly didn't trust each other. He actually called it the month the world broke and no one noticed. He didn't predict the crash. He just observed that it had already begun. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? While everyone else was busy looking at their weather apps, trying to forecast a storm, O'Shea was the guy who just looked out the window, saw it was pouring rain, and grabbed an umbrella. Simple as that. Okay, so if you accept that you can be wrong, how on earth do you survive? Well, that brings us to secret number 3. You win by not losing. And this is all about having a rigorous, really intelligent approach to managing risk. O'Shea always structures his trades to have something called a positive skew. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's like buying a lottery ticket, where the cost is super small, but the potential jackpot is absolutely huge. He's always hunting for these lopsided bets, whereas potential loss is small and strictly defined, but his potential gain is massive and totally open-ended. He's looking for that asymmetry. And he follows this simple, logical, and honestly brilliant 3-step process, but the order is everything. Look at this. Step 1, before he does anything else, he figures out the exact price that proves his hypothesis is wrong. That's his exit point. Then, step 2, he decides the max dollar amount he's willing to lose. And only then, as the very last step, does he calculate how big his position should be. The logic dictates the trade, not the other way around. And this is where most people get it completely, totally backward. They start with how much they want to trade, and then they set an exit point based on how much pain they can take before tapping out. That's all emotion. O'Shea's method is pure analysis. He gets out because his idea was proven wrong, not because he got a stomachache. Which brings us to what might be the single biggest insight of this whole explainer. You can have the most brilliant idea in the world, but it's completely worthless if you don't have the right process to actually execute it. Your risk management, your flexibility, your entire system for how you engage with the market, that's what really determines if you succeed, not that first spark of genius. And now we come to the final and maybe the most important secret of all. It's a bit of a paradox, but it's one that really empowers you to think for yourself. It can't be taught, but it can be learned. What in the world does he mean by that? Well, he means you can't just copy someone else's style and expect it to work. It won't, because you aren't them. But what you can do is learn the underlying principles of mastery and then use those principles to build a system that is 100% yours. So what are these principles you can learn? First, you have to find a method that actually fits your personality. Second, be ruthless about flexibility. Don't get emotionally attached to an idea. O'Shea says the legendary George Soros has no emotional attachment to an idea,
And man, that's the goal. Recognize when you're wrong, be willing to change your mind, and just adapt, because the only thing you can count on is that the world and the markets are always, always changing.
O'Shea just puts it perfectly here. Traders who make it in the long run are the ones who adapt. The ones who fail are often still playing by old rules that used to work, but they don't realize the game has completely changed. They just get left behind because they stopped learning.
So, when you boil it all down, the ultimate takeaway isn't some magic formula. It's really a challenge. The most important question you can ask yourself isn't, how can I always be right? No, it's this: what is my process for being wrong? Because having a great process for handling failure, that's the real secret to winning in the end.